And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Have another exciting show on tap this evening as we're truly into the spring sports season. We're going to cover a lot of ground this evening. Guests from women's lacrosse, men's lacrosse, and also baseball later on the show. But first, to catch you up on what's been going on around the world of Brevard College Tornado Athletics, basketball. Great seasons for both the men's and women's basketball teams. Big congratulations to Coach Lee Burgess, Coach Donald Hudson, their staffs, their group of student athletes. Both teams made us very, very proud with a run in the USA South Conference tournament. So just wanted to, as we transition to spring sports, give a big congratulations to the two basketball squads here at Brevard College. Great season. Softball, meanwhile, had their home opener at Brevard College over the weekend, and it was a successful one, a sweep over Wesleyan, 7-6 in game 1, 12-1 in game 5. Jaden Harlow named USA South Conference Rookie of the Week for her contributions. Baseball took on Oberlin in non-conference play, and the Tornadoes won 2 of 3 in that series. Next up for the Tornadoes baseball team, a trip to Guilford. That's a 3-game series this Saturday and Sunday in Greensboro. And then next home matchup versus Berea, a 3-game series beginning on Saturday, March the 9th at Gilcone Field. Men's women's tennis will be back in action on the road at Maryville this Wednesday evening. And then the next home matchup for men's women's tennis on Friday versus Asbury. That's Friday, March 8th. At the McCoy Tennis Complex. So mark your calendars for that one. Track and Field has their season opener under Director of Track and Field Josh Hall. The Susan Rose Invitational this Saturday in Central South Carolina. Best of luck to the track and field team. Men's lacrosse. We'll be talking a bunch of men's lacrosse later in the show. Home opener versus Oglethorpe. That's Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Hope to see you there at LeMay Family Field under the lights. And then that brings us to women's lacrosse, who had a 12-11 win over Eastern Mennonite University in their home opener and really turned a lot of heads here at Brevard College, a great way to start the home season for the Tornadoes. And with that, we're going to invite to the program 2 coaches of that program, head coach Roya Tahmassebi and also Toby Naylor, assistant coach for women's lacrosse. Coach Tahmassebi, how are you?
I'm doing great, Phil. How are you?
Doing great. And Coach Naylor, good to see you on the show again.
You too, Phil.
Coach Naylor, before we get into lacrosse, I remember last time we talked during football season, and it was like, hey, I got to do it. I've gotten on Tornado Talk every year of my career, and little did we know we'd have you again in just a couple more months.
Yeah, I love being on it. You can't keep me away. That's what it is.
Yeah, we love to have you as well, Coach, and we're going to get into your new role as well in just a moment. But first things first, a 12-11 win over Eastern Mennonite over the weekend, Coach Tahmassebi. A award came out today, Lex McLaughlin, the USA South Defensive Player of the Week. Moreover, there was a huge milestone, actually 2 big milestones, because Emily Denaga goes over the 100 career goal mark, and Coach Tahmassebi, in her first season as head coach, gets her first career win in NCAA action as a head coach. So congrats on that, Coach. A lot all wrapped into this, a lot to unpack. But please, where would you like to start with this 12-11 win over Eastern Mennonite University on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with the first game. I know I confused a lot of people. I took a timeout within the first, 2-3 minutes of the game, right after the first goal was scored. But that was Emily Denaga's 100th career goal. That was a huge moment for her. It was a huge moment for the team, honestly. It was massive, and it was awesome that it was the first game of the goal. Really start us off on a great foot. And that momentum just kept carrying throughout the game. I mean, we never gave up. That was the biggest thing. We never gave up. We never stopped fighting. Coming out, with our first home game of the season being a win, it's huge. I know we definitely were biting our tongues towards the end there. That was a little scary. But I know as soon as that last whistle kind of went off, we all, took a deep breath, and there was a lot to celebrate from that day. I mean, from Emily's efforts on offense, I mean, Zan on the draw. We have Kelsey, a freshman who just learned how to play lacrosse. We threw her in the midfield and she was amazing. Did a lot for us there. And then on the defensive end, right, we talked about Lex. Amazing defensive effort. Grace Blanton, who we're going to talk to later, had the most stops on defense for us. So she stopped 7 drives that game, which is massive for us. And I mean, we had both Amelia and Kyla in the goal. I mean, shoot, from the back of the net all the way to the front. I mean, we have a good team this year. It's awesome to see what they can do. So that game was huge for us.
Yeah, and congrats, Coach. Coach Naylor, what were some of the things you observed in this home opener? Obviously, everyone's happy with a 12-11 win, but it takes a lot of grit.
Yeah, well, I was one of the people confused with the timeout as well to start the game. I didn't realize Emily was so close. So that was huge. Obviously, very impressive that she's achieved that landmark so short in her career already. So big play from Emily, as you know, she always kind of shows out game in and game out. She always is impresses. And yeah, just really good play on defense. That was kind of the main thing that I saw. Great to have Elise back. Grace Blanton playing lights out, playing phenomenal. Lex, Cass, all those people on defense. That was kind of the big thing I saw was some good play on defense. And of course, great work in the midfield and the attack.
Yeah, outstanding stuff. And do want to touch on it a little further because it is a big deal. 100 career goals. She's done it. She's just a junior, early in her junior season, and has already reached this milestone. Coach Tahmassebi, in your experience, a milestone like this, just how big is it in your sport of women's lacrosse, but also how big is it in terms of energizing the team?
Hitting 100 career goals is massive. Doing it your junior year is a whole nother level. Emily is an incredible athlete. She's awesome. I mean, her hitting this year, I mean, she hit 100 career points last year. So that's her goals tied with assists. And so for her to kind of jump that up this year and hit 100 goals is just massive. And I'm excited. I was joking with her and I was like, all right, we're going to hit 200 the next game. We're just going to keep going. But that's exactly what this did to the team. Is it's like, okay, great, we hit 100, we're excited about it, now let's get more. It's kind of the goal for us, right? We're happy where we're at, but we know that we can do better, and so we're excited to put in that work and see where it takes us. And I also want to add something that was really cool for Emily at our game day. Our team added this position onto our game days, our home game days. We call it our faculty honorary captain. So our captains, along with some input from the players, have chosen faculty that they find super supportive, they find inspiring. And we've asked them to come to a home game and act as our honorary faculty captain. And so for this game, it was one of Emily's professors, Stacy Workman from criminal justice. And so I think it was just super awesome to not only just have her teammates on the side, but to have, the support from the faculty. It really was kind of a huge Brevard day for us.
Yeah, great stuff and great ingenuity on that program involving the faculty as well. Toby, what were some of the things you noticed as far as that whole aspect of things? It's great to bridge, student and athlete. We talk about student athletes here at Brevard College all the time, but to have the faculty actually there on the sidelines at the game is really significant.
Yeah, I think that's such a cool idea. I've never really heard of it before. Obviously, we have kind of staff appreciation week. I've heard of that and whatnot, but actually having staff come down and be on the sideline, I thought it was the coolest idea ever. I wish I could have done that with some of my professors back in my playing days, but I really like how women's lacrosse has taken this idea and running with it. And I think it's a great way to give back to the professors and the students that and the teachers that help support our players.
Last one, Coach Tahmassebi, before we sort of wrap up Saturday's game. We did mention Lex McLaughlin winning USA South Defensive Player of the Week. Those who followed women's lacrosse here at Brevard College, most of us know Lex as a goalkeeper, but here she is playing in the field now and, immediately, obviously doing great out there, winning this award from the USA South.
Yeah, everything Lex does, she does intentionally. She does it with great effort. She does it with passion. When I first kind of brought to her, her kind of stepping out of the goal and going towards defense, right? It did take a little bit of time, naturally as it would. I'm pulling her from a position she's played for about 10 years and throwing her into a completely new one. But she handled it with grace. She took it. She said, yes, coach. And she put in the work. She was actually in my office just last week. She's like, I want to play midfield. What do I have to do? I'm like, all right, there we go. And it's that kind of effort, that kind of passion for the game. I mean, she really sees this program as, it's not about one person, which is huge. She wants to go out there and do the best for the program. And while she's at it, she's like, I want to be the best. Coach put me on defense. I'm going to take over the whole field. And so who knows, we could be seeing her in midfield the end of this year, next year, really. Who knows? So it's awesome to see her take on this role and just kind of fight for it and do great.
Yeah, great stuff. A well-deserved honor right out of the gate here, and can't wait to see what's next for Lex in the field now with the Tornadoes. Well, next up for the Tornadoes, a trip to Warren Wilson, the Ridge rivalry, which, every year just the plot thickens more and more around this Ridge rivalry, and a trip to Swannanoa, North Carolina. That's 4:00 on Thursday. And then the next home match, Monday, March the 4th, that's 6:00 versus Albion. That'll actually preempt Tornado Talk for those making your viewing decisions for next Monday. So we'll be out there at the women's lacrosse game. But Toby, these games coming up, tell us a little bit as far as what the team's working on at the moment, and what the energy and also just the focus is like heading into these next couple games.
Yeah, I think these non-conference games are huge, really. I think it's a good way to set yourself up for further success further down the line, kind of work the kinks out. Obviously, a bunch of freshmen, a bunch of new players in, and so the girls are working how to work together, gel together, play together, things like that. So I think they're really important. Just getting that communication sorted out and getting that comfortableness playing with each other.
Yeah, no doubt. And Coach, what are some of your objectives for the team heading into the Warren Wilson game on Thursday and then beyond?
Yeah, I mean, biggest things for us, right, is taking what we've been doing in past games and doing it better the next time. Biggest things for us, right, is just kind of movements on offense. So we're working on new ways to attack the goal that's not just running in by yourself. Biggest kind of themes for us this year is working as a unit. So making defense kind of go through some work to gain that confidence that they have, to really build the relationships with each other to be that solid defensive unit. And then same with offense, learning how to play, what we call our two-man games, or kind of telling them, here are some new ways to attack the goal. Just really trying to add the creative aspect into the way that we play. Those are the biggest things, and that's what's going to make us most successful, kind of moving on in our season.
Great stuff. Well, do want to get to Coach Naylor a little bit more. We touched on this at the beginning of the interview. So many members of NATO Nation remember Coach Naylor from his prolific football career, native of England, who came over here and just was lights out on Islamel Family Field from the football side of things, a decorated linebacker. But now, moving on with your graduate studies, and also you've been working with the women's lacrosse team. You got this started last spring, and now, taking on even a further role this spring. Coach Naylor, tell us a little bit about what you're working on in terms of your career growth, your studies, but also this experience with women's lacrosse.
So I was fortunate enough, Roya was nice enough to ask me to come back, which I'm really glad she did. I really enjoyed my time last season and, was thankful enough to be asked to come back. So now working with the women's lacrosse team again, it's been really fun. I've almost taken on, I feel like, more of a role now, kind of working more individual on the field with middies. I get that kind of privilege and working with them in their positional work and their technique. Obviously still in the weight room, kind of working through that. Had the opportunity to kind of change up the way we do weight room now. So it's a bit more of a structured kind of program when we're in there, and it's a bit more of just a better way of doing it. So that was a nice challenge that I kind of encountered and transitioned through. So that's been a lot of fun. I'm also working with the full team at the moment. So they've been nice enough to have me come in for spring ball. I'm their strength coach and assistant linebacker coach as well. So all this experience has been really good, just kind of getting hands-on coaching with all these different teams and just kind of set myself up best for the future.
And Coach Tahmassebi, not just Coach Toby Naylor, but another Brevard College alum from the women's lacrosse side of things, Casey Collins, who a lot of followers of BC women's lacrosse are familiar with. She's on the coaching staff as well as an assistant. How valuable is it to have both Casey and Toby on your staff?
I would not be able to do this without them. I will say, Toby kind of said, we're being really nice asking him to join our teams. I would add he's earned it. Yeah, I'm a nice person, but he has done the work to earn this role. And so I just want to kind of say that for him, right? He's fantastic. But the knowledge that he brings to the weight room and the knowledge that he brings to the field has been huge for us. I always say, like, I know what I want things to look like. Toby knows how to get them to get there. I'm like, okay, I want them to get faster. He's like, okay, great. We'll run them through this, this, and that. I'm like, yeah, perfect. There it is. And so he's a great addition in that way. And with Casey, I mean, she's mainly our goalie coach, which is awesome. I mean, it helps me out a lot. She takes our goalie, she works with them. But she's also been a really good mentor for a lot of the players. Her going through kind of some similar programs to them. Also her having gone through the women's lacrosse program herself. She's been a huge mentor for the players, which has been really awesome. So I'd say I would not be able to stand up here and do what I'm doing today without the help of both of them. So I'm incredibly grateful for them.
Appreciate that, Coach Tahmassebi. Stick with us, coaches. Just a couple more minutes here. We're going to bring in a couple of the student athletes from the women's lacrosse team. Emily Denaga and Grace Blanton have both joined the conversation. Toby, why don't we start with you, Coach Naylor? Tell us a little bit about each of these two real quick.
Okay. Wow. I don't know where to start. I can't say enough good things about these two. I'll start with Emily. I've had the pleasure of working more individually with Emily as she plays midi and stuff. And wow, a hell of an athlete, that's for sure. And incredibly hardworking. And we see the results, 100 career goals and all that stuff. I think what speaks volume for her is the humility. She gets really embarrassed when, I cheer her name on the sideline and things like that. But she deserves all the credit she gets, but she won't take it. It's always for the team and for the betterment of the program. So that is, I think, one of Emily's best traits. And Grace Blanton, she's really impressed me this season. She stepped up a higher level than she was last year. Even we were out there at practice today, and she's flying around, full of speed, full of energy, cheering the team on, taking on. Although she may not be a named captain, she has a huge leadership role, and her skills on the lacrosse field speak for itself. So a lot of the girls look up to her, even though she may not be a captain. She still has that leadership role.
Well said, Coach Tahmassebi.
Yeah, I'll start with Emily. I mean, we've talked about it this whole time, but just a solid athlete. But kind of more off the field. I mean, Emily has been a huge part of this program with her leadership role and with everything else that she does. She also is one of the presidents or co-presidents for Morgan's Message Club. And her dedication to the game, her dedication to really everything that she puts her heart to is inspiring. So she's an awesome athlete to have around. I'm really excited to kind of see what she does with the rest of season. I know it's going to be huge. And Grace Blanton, one of the most selfless players I've ever met. Really, I try so hard to tell her she's doing great, and she just will not take it, which is great, right? She's always working to be better. She works hard. She pushes herself. She's grown so much since when she got here. Both of them really have in terms of like on field and off the field. So I'm excited that we get to talk to them too today and learn more about the program.
Outstanding. Well, Coach Tahmassebi, congratulations. First career win as a head coach in NCAA competition. Congrats on the win over EMU over the weekend. It had to be on pins and needles there for a little bit whenever you see a 12-11 score, but got the W. And best of luck this week, a trip to Warren Wilson, and then we'll see you back at Islamel Family Field 1 week from today versus Albion. Thanks, Coach Tahmassebi. Thanks, Coach Naylor, for joining the program.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. And as the coaches so well introduced these two, Emily Denaga, the junior midfielder from Buford, Georgia, joining us. Emily, thanks for joining the show. How are you?
Good, Phil. How are you?
Doing great, thanks. And Grace Blanton with us as well, junior defender from Birmingham, Alabama. How are you, Grace?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Well, especially after, all the reports I read, a 12-11 thriller on Saturday. And Emily, let's start with you. How did you all feel playing for, finally on the home field for a regular season game, but then obviously getting the W? How did Saturday go down?
I think it was a lot of ups and downs. We started off really strong, and we connected really well, but we did struggle in the third quarter. But we called a timeout, we got it together, and it was really good to have the fans on our side this time.
Grace, from your perspective, part of that big defense that came up big at certain points, what do you think was the key to Saturday's victory?
I think, the main thing we stress on defense is communication. And we really stepped up and talked through every single thing that we encountered. And I don't think we could have done it without just talking and being there for each other. So.
All right, Grace, I'm going to ask you about this 100 career goal thing, because I know how these Brevard College student athletes are, a lot of humility. So, often the route I'll go is, let's talk to the teammate about it. First, what was that like from your perspective and from the team's perspective once that timeout was called? Were you guys a little confused also what the purpose of that was, or did you guys know what was up?
I think most of us were a little bit confused. I don't think it clicked in our minds. We were just ready to play the game. And her first goal was within the first 30 seconds of the game. So it was pretty intense. We were like, what's happening? And then we all figured out what was happening, and we all just went wild. And I'm sure the crowd was still a little bit confused, but we couldn't be more proud of Emily, and we know that she deserves it. We know that she puts in the hard work. So.
All right. Quick follow-up to that, Emily. Did you know what was happening when the timeout was called?
I did. I actually knew the whole week leading up to it. I checked my stats and I was like, oh, wow. I was like, this is going to be big. So I talked to my teammates and got everyone on board.
Well deserved. I'm glad there was a proper celebration there. Just awesome stuff. 100 career goals. Can't wait to see what's next as you continue to, to run up those totals. And Emily, I'd love for you to comment kind of, repaying the favor here on the defense and how they came up big, players like Grace and Lex and so forth. And the new goalkeepers you all have on this year's team. Defense playing great to help make this a reality, a win on Saturday.
Yeah, I think defense played really great on Saturday. I do think Grace Blanton, every time I look on the field, she's somewhere else. It's crazy. She just dashes everywhere. And Lex with Defensive Player of the Week, well-deserved. She had a bunch of stops, a bunch of ground balls. I just think we work really well together.
Outstanding stuff. Grace, up next is a trip to Warren Wilson on Thursday, then back home on Monday versus Albion. Tell us a little bit about, the focus of the team, sort of the energy that you guys are playing with now, and what's going to be the key moving forward, not only on Thursday, but for the rest of the season.
I just think one of our keywords is intensity, and just showing up to practice and showing out and coming to games prepared and ready to play our best and just play lacrosse is one of our key phrases this year. And I think that's going to be our motto, and just doing our best and playing lacrosse and having fun.
Anything to add to that, Emily, in terms of what the key down the stretch is going to be as you guys continue to work hard this season?
She hit it spot on. We are a new team, a new program, new coach. It's a lot of moving pieces here that we just need to practice and work on playing together. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Looking forward to Thursday. And by the way, Grace, I'm sure you and the entire team are well aware there's a trophy on the line on Thursday with this trip to Warren Wilson. Is that part of the consciousness of the BC women's lacrosse student athletes? And are you guys talking about, how sweet it'll be to continue to win that trophy and keep it here at Brevard?
I think it's always in the back of our minds, and we always kind of know that is on the line with this Ridge rivalry. But at the same time, we just want to go out and play our best and improve upon the things that we know that we need to improve on, just so we can have better success within the season. So I think it's more of a common goal of working towards being better.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think that your coaches would love hearing answers like that, where you guys are laser focused on the task at hand. Emily, Coach mentioned Morgan's message. This is a really excellent program that a number of you here at Brevard College are really making a statement. And I've seen you at basketball games. I've seen you all raising awareness and that kind of thing. But I would love to give you a moment to tell folks about Morgan's Message, your role with Morgan's Message here at Brevard College, but what's it all about?
So Morgan's Message is a mental health advocacy group for student athletes. We just created the club this year on campus, but me, Cass, and Lex have been ambassadors for their program for about a year now. We're still growing as a club, but we love to do dedication games and really just spread the word and make it known.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And where can folks go for more information? Just Morgan's Message on the internet?
Yeah, you can go to morgansmessage.org, and we also have a Brevard College Morgan's Message Instagram.
Very good. Appreciate that. And kind of keeping things off the playing field. Grace, I know, not just Morgan's Message, but women's lacrosse always involved with community service, especially around here locally in Transylvania County. When I mention women's lacrosse and community service, what comes to mind?
I mean, we always head out to the farm with Jackie at Rooster Farms, and we always have a good time. We play together and just kind of help out with our community. And it's just kind of a core part about our program and helping each other out and just getting out and involved.
Yeah, and what's always compelling to me about community service, and Emily, I'd love for you to speak to this as well. You're not only helping the group or the individuals who you're giving the service to, but you're getting something out of it as well through the community service, correct?
Yeah, I really think it's a good thing to add to build our friendships and our relationships off the field. I feel like it's a good thing to just relax, not have to, think about lacrosse, worry about lacrosse. It's really just to get to know each other as people.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Well, can't wait to see you both back in action Thursday, the road trip to Swannanoa, then back here on Monday, 1 week from today. Couple before we let you out of here, Emily, tell us a little bit about your studies. What are you working on academically?
I'm working on majoring in criminal justice and minoring in environmental issues.
Very good, too. Excellent programs here at Brevard College. How about you, Grace? What's going on in the classroom for you?
I'm a double major in psychology and Willie.
Outstanding. Willie, for those who don't know, the wilderness program here, just an outstanding program as well, along with psychology. Certainly great majors for each of you. Well, you guys know the drill. And by the way, I just want to give Emily a shout out because she helps us with production for every Monday night along with Cassidy Hutto. And here she is, kind of roles reversed, being the guest on the show. So appreciate you. And thank you for all your help behind the scenes as well. But you, as much as anybody, knows the drill here, right? Shout outs or thank yous. The floor is yours.
I definitely want to shout out all my teammates, my coaches, my support team at home. I love all you guys. Thank you for helping me get to where I am today.
Yeah, that includes 100 career goals now. Congrats again on that, Emily. Absolutely outstanding. Grace Blanton, same opportunity for you. Shout outs?
I just like to thank my teammates as well as my defensive. I mean, you couldn't really get our success like how Lex is doing amazing. You couldn't really do it without the core four. So I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all my support back home. So, yeah.
Well said. Well, great job on Saturday. Can't wait to see what's next for women's lacrosse. Can't wait to see you back at LeMay Family Field a week from tonight. Great job on the show this evening. Emily Denaga and Grace Blanton. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, we're going to quickly switch gears and head over to men's lacrosse, who's underway with their season as well, and debuting the men's lacrosse coaching staff for this 2024 season. Good to see these two gentlemen back on Tornado Talk. Coach JD LeMay, head coach of the Tornadoes. How are you?
I'm doing well, Phil. How are you?
Doing great. Also with us, assistant coach Brenner Woodcock. How are you, Coach Woodcock?
Good, Phil. How are you?
Doing great. Well, great to have you both on. Coach LeMay, catch our audience up, where the men's lacrosse team is at this juncture of the early season and how things are going so far.
Yeah, so we're about, I would say about game-wise, four weeks in. Unfortunately, we had a game get canceled this past week, which would have been our third game of the year. So we're focused on our fourth game coming up Wednesday night. We're 0-2, not the way we would have liked to start it. But we competed against two great competitions. I mean, Montreat, who's an AI, and Lees McRae, who's a Division II program. We went out, competed with these two schools. It was nice to open up with them because now we get to see what we need to work on going into our Division III schedule, which opens up Wednesday night at LeMay Family Field against Oglethorpe. We're pushing, we're grinding, we're low roster this year, but all of our guys have the same mindset, and it's go out and compete every day and worry about us. Focus on the next day, focus on us, and that's what's going to help us win games.
Home opener, as you mentioned, on Wednesday at LeMay Family Field versus Oglethorpe. Coach Woodcock, tell us a little bit about the team, how are practices going leading into this Oglethorpe game?
Yeah, I think they're going well. All the guys are really focused on control what we can control, like Coach said, and they're hungry. They're hungry for that first win this year, and we want to defend home turf, so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's overdue, and part of it was nothing to do with the Tornadoes getting this home opener off the ground, but that's significant, right, Coach LeMay, as far as getting the home game in, getting that under your belt, and just the comfort level of the team playing on the home turf.
Yeah, it's always nice to just go in your backyard. You don't have to get on a bus. You don't have to travel. You don't have to worry about all the other outside nonsense. We can just show up to the field and play our game. And it's nice that it starts Wednesday, and we're at home for the next 5 games. So that's our focus is defend our home field for the next 5 games, and it starts Wednesday, and it's to come out Wednesday night and do the little things, do what we've been going over, and hopefully come out with the win.
Coach Woodcock, the opponent Oglethorpe on Wednesday. This is a team the Tornadoes have seen before in past years. Tell us a little bit about the matchup itself and what kind of lacrosse we can expect on Wednesday.
I think it'll be a physical game. I know Oglethorpe likes to play body a lot, so we're trying to get the guys used to that, and we're looking forward to it, Phil. I think last year it was 12-8 final. We started really slow, but I think we'll get them this year.
Yeah, it sounds like a great matchup. Once again, looking forward to it. Oglethorpe on Wednesday. This year's team, Coach LeMay, in terms of the makeup of the team, the leadership, but also the newcomers and that kind of thing. Tell our audience a little bit about this year's team and that roster makeup.
We're very upperclassmen heavy. A lot of seniors, a lot of juniors, and we're pretty light on the lower classmen. So a lot of the guys have been here for 3 to 4 years, so they know what our expectations are. I mean, they've been here as long as I have. They know what my expectations are. They know what we need to do every single day to make this team better and for us to be successful. I think we have some great leaders on the field. You're going to meet 2 of them here later on tonight. But very upperclassmen heavy. So a leadership from a group who's been at Brevard for 4 years and hasn't been so successful. So these seniors are very itchy for a win and a successful season. So they're pushing the underclassmen to be the best they can be, and focus on us, because at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Coach Woodcock, anything to add to that? Experience can go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Coach said, we are very upperclassmen heavy. So it's just getting them prepared for the game or for the gauntlet we have ahead. But yeah, I think this team can be very, very good.
Outstanding. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing the team in action on Wednesday and beyond. As like you said, Coach, D3 opponents, that portion of the schedule. Eventually we'll get into USA South Conference play as well. Well, Coach LeMay, year 2, and certainly, you've put your footprint and your handprint on this program. You're building the program, and you've had the opportunity now to settle in here at Brevard College. Tell us a little bit about your experience here at Brevard and, how you're enjoying, this opportunity for you and, what it's meant to you to have this opportunity to coach at Brevard College.
Absolutely love it. I think the people we work with are fantastic. I think the area is fantastic. And like you said, leaving my footprint. I mean, a little correction. This was my 3rd spring.
Year 3. Yeah. 2 years in the books. Yep.
Second full year here. And having 2 full years to be able to recruit the kids that we want to bring in, that we feel that can help bring in the culture that we're trying to build here and help us get back on the track of winning lacrosse games and competing and having fun doing it. But I think it's been nothing but good things, and we can only go up. So between Coach and I, we've been looking and recruiting to bring in the kids that we feel fit the Brevard way and want to be here, want to compete, and want to help us be a successful program. Outside lacrosse, like I said, the people we work with are amazing. Athletic staff are great. It's been nothing but fun for the last 2.5, 3 years, and I can't wait to see what the future has.
And Coach Woodcock, you come from an interesting background because you played and graduated from a former USA South Conference rival of Brevard College, Averett University. Tell us a little bit about what it's like being here at Brevard now, and how you're enjoying this opportunity.
Yeah, I'm loving it. It's a little different from Danville where Averett is, and I'm from the opposite side of the state as well, so it's a little different from home. But I love the area. Like Coach said, the support staff's great, and from top to bottom, and I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate both of you, and just can't wait to get this thing started on Wednesday versus Oglethorpe. Coach LeMay, Coach Woodcock, can you stick around a little longer as we invite on a couple of your student athletes onto the program? Atticus Cooper has arrived to the conversation, also Parker Corbett. Coach Woodcock, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about these two so NATO Nation can understand what Atticus Cooper and Parker Corbett are all about.
Yeah, these are our two captains. We'll start with Atticus. He's a midfielder for us. He's been here 4 years. He does everything we ask of him. And then Parker, he's a graduate. This is his 6th year. And he also does everything we ask of him. He's an attacker for us.
Outstanding. Coach LeMay, let us know from your perspective just how valuable these two are to the program.
Very valuable. I mean, we're very grateful to get Parker here 2 years ago. He actually played with Coach Woodcock at Averett. And when he decided to graduate, he wanted to come play under Coach Woodcock here. So we were very grateful to get him. He's a very big part to our offense, and happy to have him. I mean, it's unfortunate we're going to lose him next year. I wish we had him for all 4 years, but I'm happy that we got him for 2. And we're looking for big things from him this year. Atticus he's been a workhorse for us, not only on the field, but off the field in the classroom. He's a good kid. I know he's known around campus for other things that he's done. But he is a workhorse on the field. He's going to do everything we ask him to do. It's yes sir, yes no ma'am. And he does what he's asked to do, and he puts in the work. So 2 very good leaders for us on the field, off the field as well. And we're super excited. Again, we're only 2 games in. We have another 13, 14 games to go. So super excited to see what these 2 can do for us the rest of the year.
Well, coaches, I can add to those sentiments because these 2 have been outstanding student athletes here at Brevard College from our perspective in the athletic department and in the sports information office. And at football game days, we couldn't do all the things we do up in that press box without these 2 and the rest of the men's lacrosse team. But these 2 in particular, 2 big stars of that operation, all the statistics, all the broadcasting know-how and so forth. These 2 are a big part of that. So I just want to publicly thank both Atticus and Parker while the coaches are here,
Thank you.
Well, appreciate that. Coach LeMay, Coach Woodcock, thank you for coming on the show this evening. We can't wait to see you on Wednesday at Islamel Family Field. Best of luck in your continued preparation for that one.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, there they go. And as the coaches helped introduce these 2, Atticus Cooper in that upper right location. Atticus, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Phil?
Doing great. And Parker Corbett with us as well. Parker, how are you doing?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great. Well, first things first, Atticus, I believe you guys just came off the practice field not too long ago. Is that correct?
Yeah, about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. So how did practice go today? How's the team feeling heading into this Oglethorpe matchup?
It was good. We put some good work in. It's just important that we go in there with our hair on fire and we play hard.
Yeah. And Parker, from your perspective, what are you noticing from the team in this here and now and heading into this Oglethorpe game?
The guys are hungry. They want to get a win on the home opener. So we just want to get out there and start playing already.
Feels good, right, Atticus, to finally have the home opener here. And I know that makes a difference, you all playing on your home turf. What kind of advantage do you think that gives the Tornadoes playing at home?
Yeah, I think just not having to travel in general when you got to sit there in a bus or a van for an hour or 2 and just sit on the road for a while, it can kind of take away your focus at times. So
and
just being able to be at home and just walk right over and play the game, it's helpful.
Yeah, that old adage, you get to sleep in your own bed kind of thing. And Parker, from your perspective, you guys practice all the time on this turf. You also understand some of the strange weather patterns that can come through the mountains of Western North Carolina and that kind of thing. What do you think of when you think about, all right, it's a home game, we get to play at home, we get to take on this team at home?
I think playing here 5 days a week, practicing for 2 hours a day, we get used to the different weather changes that can happen within those 2 hours. So I feel like that is an advantage that we have when other teams come to play us.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and we notice it across all of our sports. Some of the opponents have a real hard time with, it says one thing in the forecast, the next thing you know, you've got a 30, 40 mile per hour gust of wind coming through. Atticus, how much is weather a factor in the sport of lacrosse?
Yeah, it can definitely affect it considering you're playing with like a stick on a net. If your stick gets wet and stuff like that, you got to learn how to handle it.
Yep. Parker Corbett, a graduate attacker from New Westminster, Canada. Parker, tell us a little bit about the attacker position, and what you're trying to accomplish there, and also the unit of attackers we have here at Brevard College this year.
Well, the basics for the position is basically get the ball into the net. It would be the same as any player on the offensive side of the ball, whether that be a sport like football or basketball or anything. The attackmen have 3 players that we're only restricted to one side of the field, which would be the end line to the halfway mark of the 50 line. And our job basically is move the ball around, put the ball in the net, get some assists while we're at it, hopefully. Honestly, in my own opinion, just have some fun with it. We get out there and we get beaten with 6-foot lacrosse sticks, so we got to enjoy something.
Atticus Cooper, you're listed as a midfielder. A lot of our audience is still learning about the sport of lacrosse. I feel like each year we make a lot of progress in that department. But tell us a little bit from your perspective, the midfield position, and all the dynamics to that on the field.
Yeah, so in lacrosse, you have an offensive midi and a defensive midi, and that's something we've actually been able to use a lot more this year, which wasn't always a luxury that we had, because there was a while there where we had to use two-way middies, which means you had to play both ends, and then that could get pretty tiring. And so you have your defensive middies who play defense, and they handle a lot of the clearing of the ball, which is just getting it upfield and getting your offense possession. And then playing offensive mid, you got to know your plays, and you got to be ready to run a clear as well.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, Atticus. And just to round out this little men's lacrosse 101, by the way, shout out to the women's lacrosse team. They're doing something similar, women's lacrosse 101, to try to educate folks on their sport. Two very different sports. Don't let it fool you, the men's and the women's game. But Parker, to round out our little seminar here, tell us about the defenders.
The defenders, they can consist of 3 players or 3 to 4 players that have 6-foot lacrosse sticks, to 3 to 2 or 2 to 3 extra players that are just short stick D middies, as Atticus was saying. They're a lot like the attackmen. They're restricted to their side of the field for a majority of the game, but they just go out there and try to have some fun as well, beat each other up.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. A very physical game, the sport of lacrosse, and encourage folks to come on out and check it out on Wednesday night versus Oglethorpe. Atticus, your senior year, you've playing lacrosse since you got here at Brevard College. But tell us about your lacrosse background. When did you first pick up a stick, and how did it eventually lead to playing here in college at Brevard College?
Yeah, so I didn't start playing lacrosse until my junior year of high school. My high school didn't get a program until my sophomore year, and I was still playing basketball. And I eventually dropped basketball, and a lot of my friends played lacrosse, and then they all told me about how they were having a great time with it, and they wanted me to join with them, and I did, and it was really fun. So in order of just like getting to college, my dad helped me out a lot, finding programs and getting in touch with coaches. So I thank him for that.
Yeah, dude, Very good. We're thrilled that you chose Brevard, and can't wait to see what's happening here on this senior year for you, Atticus. Parker Corbett, graduate student, but tell us a little bit about your lacrosse upbringing in New Westminster, Canada, which is in British Columbia.
So where I grew up, it's lacrosse is kind of a big thing, especially the stereotypes of being Canadian and stuff that I hear all the time. But where I'm from specifically in New West, we have a semi-professional team that in the summer plays games. So I've grown up watching lacrosse and playing lacrosse in the city for the New Westminster Salmon Bellies. And I think since the age of 7, I was playing for the New Westminster club team. And then I played for my high school, which is when I mainly got into field lacrosse, playing outside instead of in an arena where it's kind of like hockey. So I had to make small adjustments there to learn that game over just normal box lacrosse. And once I got into my senior year of high school, I started thinking about going on and playing into college, seeing how far I could take this. And that's when I ended up talking to a bunch of coaches, landed at Averett, got to meet Coach Woodcock. And for 4 years, we played together. And then unfortunately, COVID hit, but luckily it gave a lot of us players 2 extra seasons to play. And when he said that he was coaching, I said, I have to come play under you. So it was a lot of fun to do that.
Yeah, outstanding. I'd love that origin story of yours. We've talked to the coaches about this, fellas, but love to hear from your perspective. The way the sport of lacrosse is growing nationally, more high school programs like the one you described, Atticus, from your high school are adding, the sport. You're seeing it on television more and more, whether it be on, places like ESPN or, the different networks and so forth. It's just more and more, part of, the sports landscape here in the United States. What are some of the things you've noticed in that regard, Atticus?
Yeah, I think the formation of the PLL has really helped grow field lacrosse because I think they had to deal with ESPN, which has given it a lot more TV time and publicity. And I think that's really helped. I think a lot of upstart programs like high school programs has really helped too. Kentucky's getting a lot more lacrosse programs than they ever had. And I just think it's like the way it's naturally growing. It's not forced or anything. And I think just like the PLL has really helped it because it's given it kind of like an identity. It's given it a professional identity, which has really helped it grow.
Yeah, the professional lacrosse league getting going here in the United States, getting network television and so forth. Parker, what have you noticed in terms of the growth of the sport here in not only the United States, but North America?
I've seen growth come all over the place, whether that be back home in Canada, just across the border into Washington, or even into California. Because when I was playing in high school, we would travel down to the States sometimes and play against American teams. And first couple of years, it was not very big. Like not many people came out to games or to do anything. But then slowly moving on, by my senior year, there was more teams. There was more people coming out. And then by the time I was halfway through at Averett, it was just blown up. Like it's hard to get into tournaments because so many teams are around nowadays, especially over on the West Coast.
Yeah, a booming sport. No exaggeration there across the country. What was once very much regionalized to certain parts of the country and of the world now, really booming in so many ways. Well, before we let you guys go, do you want to take it to the classroom? Atticus, senior year. I know you've got, a lot of things on your plate across campus and so forth, but tell us a little bit about what, you're working on studying wise, what's your degree going to be in, and, what's keeping you busy away from lacrosse?
Yeah, so I'm about to get my bachelor's in environmental studies in May. And I guess then I'm kind of just looking to take some time off after that and then figure out what I really want to focus on in life and stuff. So I guess just researching new opportunities is a lot of what is taking up my time right now.
And just a follow-up to that, Atticus, I know you've been involved in things like tutoring here at Brevard College. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's definitely helped me just grow and meet new people on campus and stuff like that. And I think it's also just developed my knowledge of the subjects I was learning. I think teaching helps you learn in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Parker Corbett, a graduate student. Tell us what you're up to in the academic world.
Currently, I'm in the graduate program for Human and Health Performance, and majority of what I do for classes and stuff right now is currently I'm working on my internship, and I'm working in the athletic training room with Noah and Andrew and Nicole, kind of just learning more clinical basis of like rehab and stuff, because that's what I want to be doing when I get out of here, and go work in PT or even try to get my athletic training license and continue that back home.
Outstanding stuff from both these student athletes. Well, before we let you go, gentlemen, you all know the drill. Thank yous or shout outs. Atticus?
Yeah, I want to shout out my high school coaches, Coach Coyne, Coach Tyler. They really helped me out a lot in just developing as a player and getting recognized by colleges and getting ready for college. And I want to shout out my boy Lucas Harvey. He's always been a great friend.
Parker, same opportunity for you.
I guess I would have to shout out my parents for giving me the opportunity to fly or drive 3,000 miles away from my small hometown to chase after a dream of playing in college and continuing it for so long.
Yeah, appreciate both those sentiments from each of you. Atticus Cooper, Parker Corbett. We'll see you out at Islamel Family Field on Wednesday, the home opener versus Oglethorpe. Best of luck, gentlemen. We'll see you at Islamel.
Thank you, Phil. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. We're going to switch gears quickly here and talk baseball as we welcome into the program head coach Mike Victory, also assistant coach Vinny Carone. Coach Victory, how are you? I think we might have
my ball. That's my fault. There we go. Excited to be here.
Very good. Coach Carone, how about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, great to have you guys both on. Well, was able to catch the Sunday game. We had a lot of things going on campus on Saturday, so I didn't get a chance to catch too much of the Saturday game. Obviously saw the results and so forth, but took 2 of 3 over Oberlin this weekend. Coach Victory, first things first, this past weekend, what were the good and maybe some of the things that you're looking for the team to work on coming off that Oberlin series?
I would say, in general for us, we pitched the ball really well, kept them off balance, limited the free passes, and then generally played some good defense. There's hiccups here and there, but nothing that took us out of the games. We were able to come up with the big hit at the end of game 2 to get us over the hump and take that game, and then stuck with it on Sunday to get some insurance runs and get some breathing room and be able to finish that game out. Not hitting our best right now as a group. I think we have some things that we need to iron out. Don't get me wrong, we've been pitched tough the last 2 weekends, but there's definitely a lot of areas that we can improve as an offensive unit. But we were talking about the other day, it's better to be figuring those things out now and clicking in May than it is to be super hot now and it kind of lose it on the back end.
Coach Carone, anything to add to that as far as this past weekend?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of touched on all points with the pitching really performing well. And I thought our defense improved from the week before, but still just kind of getting our swings to where they need to be. I think it's good to have that adversity early on in seasons, just because it takes that adversity a little bit to build confidence. And hopefully, just like Coach Victor said, down the stretch, the offense starts to pick it up. And these are hitters that have been successful in the past, so there's no reason that they wouldn't be successful this year. And I think you saw a little bit on Sunday, guys starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. Frankie Vasquez kind of broke out a little bit in a big way, and that was huge for us to get the win. And hopefully some of the other guys kind of follow suit this next weekend, and we start to hit the ball well like we know how to do.
Coach, one thing that's obvious on this year's team, there's several new faces who are making an immediate impacts. What are some of the things you're most pleased from as far as the newcomers go? And, what comes to mind, as I mentioned, the new Tornadoes making their mark right away here.
Yeah, it's great when you're able to step in and find success quickly. I think more than anything, that's a testament to the guys that have been here a long time. They understand the standard that, our guys need to meet to be successful, non-conference, conference over the course of a long season. And as soon as the new guys step on campus, those expectations are laid out to them, and they make sure that their teammates are working as hard as they need to be ready come season. It's been a lot of young pitchers, especially, that have stepped in big spots and gotten big outs for us. And that's been huge. We know, kind of stumbled down the back end of the season last year when a couple guys got banged up and, ran out of arms in the tournament. So that was the big goal, was to make sure we were going to be loaded up. And, our pitchers have come out swinging and ready to roll, especially those younger guys. And it's fun to see them grow up in a hurry. And there's a lot of guys that you haven't seen yet that are going to have to be big for us down the stretch. And so there's more to come.
Well, Coach Victory gave us a good perspective there on the younger guys. Coach Carone, what are you noticing about the leadership of this team and, how it's exceptional and like Coach said, guiding some of these new players and helping them along, but also just providing the leadership you need to be a winning club?
Yeah, I think the first thing it provides them is just a little bit of confidence and a calmness too. They know they don't have to be bigger than themselves. They can just go out and pitch, and a lot of the guys just leading by example. The juniors and seniors are constantly working. At least the hitters I know are like constantly out there hitting on their own, doing things on their own. And that's what it takes to be a successful Division III program. And the freshmen are quickly following suit, and they're out there all the time with them and trying to work and get better. And so I think just kind of bringing them along when they go work is the best thing that they can do. And they've done that since the fall. And I think it's fun to see guys who are younger kind of get along with the older guys and start to kind of find their niche with the team. And those older guys have just done a great job of being welcoming and showing them how to do things the right way, and just kind of leading by example in a lot of the work that they put in.
Next up for the Tornadoes, a 3-game series at Guilford, Saturday and Sunday in Greensboro, North Carolina. Coach Victory, preview the week ahead for us a little bit, and what can we expect this weekend?
It should be more good baseball. They're a team that's been fun to have on the schedule. They challenge us when we go out there. They always hit the ball pretty well. They got a couple guys that can throw. As an ODAC team, they got to deal with some of the best teams in the country week in and week out. So I think both of us as programs look to challenge each other as we're getting closer and closer to conference time. I think there's an expectation that's going to be high-level baseball, and we're going to get challenged, and we're going to come right at each other and kind of see where we're at. And what holes that we maybe have left that we got to shore up in the next couple of weeks. So it should be 3 very good games, and I think traveling is always tough, especially with younger guys. You got to teach them how to travel well, how to sleep in the hotel, wake up, be prepared to play at a different field, different feel for everything that's going on, and come out and be successful. Winning on the road, I think, is one of the next big humps as a program. We do really, really well at home, and it's not always translated on the road, and we got the road heavy conference schedule this year, so we're gonna have to be good when we travel. So this is the kind of last chance to get better on the road before conference play.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Coach Carone, when there's a conference portion of the season and now you're in the non-conference portion, Coach touched on a little bit. These are barometers where the team's at, but also, it's critical that you're heading in the right direction heading into conference.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important that we kind of get off on the right foot with these non-conference games. And like you said, it's a good barometer. You're playing against really, really good teams in the area that maybe aren't in the conference. I think LaGrange was a really good test for us as well, and obviously didn't come away with the results that we wanted. But the guys kind of realized that we're there, and you learn how to compete against high-level teams by playing these out-of-conference teams as well. And then I think on the hitting side of things, it's nice to have these non-conference games where you can kind of like find your swing a little bit, because obviously we need to win in conference. So we test out a little bit. The hitters can kind of get a feel for where they're at against good competition, and then that prepares us to play well in the conference schedule.
Following the trip to Guilford, back at home versus Berea, March the 9th and March the 10th, a series there at Gil Cone Field. Coach Victory, we've talked about it before. Now that we've got, a couple home series under our belt, Gil Cone Field, a special place to watch some baseball.
Yep, it's a lot of fun. The crowds have been tremendous. It's great energy when big things happen. It's loud and it's fun. I think our guys, 100% build off that energy and thrive when we have a lot of folks there cheering us on. And that, it's been awesome. We have great support staff that make sure everything runs smoothly. Having the concession stand going and all the folks that help us, chasing down foul balls makes our guys able to focus on baseball. And then our families are just there, just being loud, being awesome, being who they are. And there's more and more students that come out, and our guys notice. They see it, they love it, and it makes them want to play better. So it's been awesome to see that change, see that growth in our crowd, especially like first couple of years dealing with COVID and no crowds, and to what we have now. It's an awesome experience.
Coach Carone, your first year here at Brevard College, you've seen baseball all over the country. What are you noticing about, the atmosphere at Gilcone Field, but also just, this special opportunity for these student athletes here in Brevard?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that you notice is it's just a beautiful park. You have the mountains on both sides, whether you're at home plate or you're looking the other way from the outfield. And then on top of that, the fans are kind of right there next to you. And I think it's really cool that our parents are there and supporting us, the community's there supporting us. And it gets really loud, especially when the weather was nice. A couple of weekends ago, we had a big crowd on hand on opening weekend, and that definitely feeds the energy of the team. And I think going back to what we were talking about earlier with going on the road is you have to bring your own energy on the road. And it's nice to be at home and not really have to worry about it or think about it because it just happens so naturally. And I think all the Brevard athletic events that I've been to, there's a special energy that you don't always experience with Division III athletics. And it's cool to be a part of a program and a part of a school where people do care about the athletics and they're there and they're supporting and they're being good fans and like cheering on in the right way. And it's just a great place to play and excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, appreciate that. Coach Victory, Coach Carone, can you stick around just a couple moments longer? We're going to invite in a couple of your student athletes. Looking forward to these two joining the conversation. Logan Sawyer and has joined the building, and also right here with us, Kalen Millstead making his Tornado Talk debut. Coach Carone, we'll let you start. Tell us a little bit about these two.
Yeah, so I'll start with Logan Sawyer. I said it the other day after the game. He's a guy who's just worked so hard in his time here. And I think the path to being in the starting lineup and the path to success on the field hasn't been an easy one. And I think it's awesome to see a guy just kind of stick to it and continue to work hard and be a great teammate and overcome that adversity. And then he had a huge weekend this weekend against Oberlin. And without him coming in and playing well off the bench and then playing well in his start on Sunday, we might not come away with 2 wins. And so he was a huge role for us this weekend, and hopefully he continues to be a huge role for us. But just to see a guy kind of handle that adversity in such a mature way and push the guys in front of him and make the guys around him better and then have success on his own, like that's an awesome story. And I'm really proud of him for that. And then Millstead, he's a firecracker on the mound. He comes in relief a lot and has just been electric out of the bullpen multiple times and just comes in a left-handed pitcher, shuts guys down. And we needed him big time on Saturday as well to kind of come in and smooth things over. We didn't have our normal starting rotation this weekend because of injuries, and he really filled a lot of innings and kept their offense at bay, which gave our offense an opportunity to kind of relax and score some runs and settle in and end up winning game 2 on Saturday. So both these guys had huge weekends for us, and both are just great people on and off the field too. So it's good to see them have success.
Coach Victory, anything to add?
Coach covered most of it. They're just young men who represent the program well, know what we're trying to do, and have bought into the work ethic that they need to do to be successful. Again, they're guys that maybe their role's not always perfect, but when they get an opportunity in that role, they're going to come out and do it to the highest level possible. And there'll be names you'll continue to hear well after this Tornado Talk because of how hard they work and how much they want to win.
Well done. Appreciate both of those answers, coaches, and your participation this evening on Tornado Talk. Good luck this week at Guilford. We'll see you back at Gilcone Field the following weekend.
Thanks for having us, Phil.
All right, there they go. Logan Sawyer, join us in that upper right location. How are you, Logan?
I'm good. I'm awesome. How are you, Phil?
Awesome. No doubt about it. And also with us here, Kalen Millstead. Kalen, thanks for joining the program.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, Logan. Tell us about this past weekend. Took 2 of 3 over Oberlin. How's the team feeling coming off the weekend? And what was the key to taking 2 of 3?
Well, coming off after the LaGrange series, we were definitely on a down note. We even opened against Oberlin. We're still down. And in that second game, we really got a fire lit under us. And we played with some intensity that we need to keep carrying on. We brought into the third game. We're going to continue to bring it into Guilford for sure.
And Kalen, you had that big game on Saturday, 4 huge innings for the Tornadoes to get that game 2 win. Tell us a little bit about your outing on Saturday and how you felt.
I felt great. I knew what I needed to do. I needed to come in. I needed to throw strikes. I needed to really settle in and lock down what I was trying to do and not let them score, which is what I did. So.
Yeah, dude. Logan, tell us, I see a nod in your head from your perspective, because you've probably taken BP and played, exhibitions against Kalen and so forth. Tell us about this freshman pitcher we've got here.
You have no idea how great of a question that is, because if there is anyone that Kalen Millstead, I've got 2 at-bats against him. I'm 0 for 2 with 2 Ks looking. And I don't strike out looking a lot. So what he's got is something special for sure.
Yeah, and Kalen, likewise, how about returning the favor? Even though he's 0 for 2 against you, Logan's a heck of a ball player in his own right. Tell us about Logan.
It's still a battle. Even though right now I'm up, it's still a battle when I got to go against him. So whoever I'm facing, I always bring it, especially against him. So
yeah, dude, great stuff there. Logan, Coach was talking about this week, big opportunity for you guys heading back on the road. You mentioned the LaGrange series. You get another big opportunity here versus Guilford. Tell us a little bit about the mentality of the team this week and what you guys feel like you need to do, to come away successful.
We just need to come with the same intensity we had, and we need to be ready to swing the bats. That is what we are still working on figuring it out at the moment. We're getting hotter with them, but the LaGrange series was not it for our bats. But I'm sure Guilford will turn it around. Absolutely.
And Kalen, what are some of the things you guys are discussing as a pitching staff? What you're going to have to do this weekend coming up, but also the rest of the year for the Tornadoes to find success.
Just get there and throw strikes. Just immediately, as soon as you get into the game, know exactly what you got to do and produce that, and just be just basically do your job. That's all it really is. It's just do your job.
Yeah, you can't say it any more plainly than that, Kalen. I actually really appreciate that answer. It can go on so many levels, no matter what we're talking about, business, sports, you name it. Logan Sawyer, sophomore second baseman out of Asheboro, North Carolina. Tell us a little bit about your baseball upbringing. When did this thing get started for you?
I was certainly born into baseball. My mom played softball throughout her entire life. My dad played baseball growing up, and then he played men's softball until he's 63. So I've been around it forever. I grew up playing t-ball into coach pitch all the way up. And then I decided that Brevard College was my place when I was in high school. I toured it, and I decided I wanted to be here.
Were you always a infielder, Logan?
Yes, sir. Maybe as a really young man, I was a catcher for a little bit and then became an infielder. Yeah. So.
Very good. Appreciate that. Same question for you, Kalen. When did you first start playing baseball? When did it become serious? And then ultimately, how'd you find your way to Brevard College?
I started really young. I started when I was 3, so I was basically born into it as well. And I loved it ever since, but it really got serious when I realized this is what I want to do was freshman year, and I knew I wanted to play in college. And especially when I first saw Brevard and when I first toured it, I really liked the campus, and I liked the coaches and their playing style, and I really liked it a lot.
Yeah, well, we're thrilled that both of you are here and in that Tornado uniform. We also talked to the coaches a little bit about home field advantage. We're coming off this weekend series at Gilcone Field. Some people call it Gill's Place. Logan, you're in your second season here. What do you think is special about Gilcone Field, and how does it affect you guys as players, that atmosphere?
There really is something special about Gill's Place. Especially we get to have all of our players. We don't always get to have that when we travel. It is a completely different life in the dugout. It's a completely different life in the stands. Everyone's fired up, ready to play baseball, ready to be active and get behind our boys. It's a special place.
In Kalen, your first season here at Brevard College, what are the things you're noticing as far as, that element of Gilcone Field being an advantage to you all?
I can feel the energy, especially when I'm on the mound and when I'm just in the bullpen. I can feel, and we can all feed off the energy that the fans bring and the players bring to the field. So it is a really special thing. I'm still recovering my voice from this weekend because of how much energy we put into that game.
Yeah. And it makes a difference, right, Logan, as far as that energy, not only coming from the crowd, but from the dugout. It's something, kind of unique to college baseball. You don't see it as much, if you're watching a game on TV for the MLB or something. But in college baseball, that energy that you guys create really makes a difference.
Absolutely. As that was my job last year, was to be the energy on the bench. I'm glad to be working my way out of that role, but I still loved it while I did it. And it's part of being a freshman. You got to bring it for your teammates and support them.
Yeah, interesting little dynamic there. I'm going to have to keep my antenna up who the hype guys are, this year and so forth. Logan, Sawyer, Kalen, Millstead, weekend series coming up at Guilford. Just a couple more before we let you get out of here. Logan, tell us a little bit about, your experience here at Brevard College. You enjoying being in this part of the country? You enjoying the Brevard College experience? What's it been like for you?
I love Brevard College. From the moment I toured it, I always said I wanted to go to school in the mountains. I wanted a small school. Honestly, the idea of a bigger school scared me. So I found Brevard College, and I have a funny little story of touring it for the first time and seeing a white squirrel right away. And I was like, it's to do. It's destined. I have to go to Brevard College, and I've loved it. I've loved the tight knit group of our baseball team. Always having my boys around. I love it.
Kalen, in your first year here at Brevard College, what have been some of your impressions, and tell us about your experience and how you're enjoying it.
I've loved it a lot. Just every single day I wake up and I'm like, I'm really glad I'm here, and I'm I'm really glad I have the teammates I have, because it's a special group of guys that I really enjoy hanging out with, and I feel like I made a lot of really good connections, and it's been unreal so far.
Great stuff. Logan, what are you working on academically?
I'm a biology major with a minor in ecology. I'd like to do field biology in the future. I'd like to go be out in the woods doing stuff like that, ecology and whatnot. So
yeah, and with Brevard College's experiential education and that mission, certainly lots of opportunities here at Brevard College for that. Kalen, I know you're a freshman, so not expecting to have it all figured out at this point, but have you selected a major? What are you working on academically?
I have. I want to. I'm majoring in exercise science, and I want to become a physical therapist, and I want to work with teams. So I still, even after I'm done with baseball, I still want to be around baseball. So.
Very good. Yeah, that's the one thing. If there's one takeaway from this interview with Logan and Kalen, these are two baseball guys. It's in your blood. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. All right. Well, before we let you go, do want to give you the opportunity for any shout outs or thank yous. The floor is yours, Logan, Sawyer. Got any shout outs for us?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to shout out my family, my mother, my father, my brother. They always support me. They watch the live streams. Even if I'm not playing, they still support us. I love it. They love the BC NATO baseball team. That's all I got.
Very good. Kalen, Millstead, do you have any shout outs for us?
Yeah, I gotta say my family, they've always helped me with everything basically, and I want to say my high school coach, he's helped me with a lot as well, and facing some challenges in the past, and I feel like they've got me a really long way.
Very good. Well, great job this evening on the program, Logan, Sawyer, and Kalen Millstead, two valuable parts of this year's Brevard College Tornado Baseball Club. Good luck this week as you head to Guilford. We'll see you back at Gill's Place in about 2 weeks, but really looking forward to that. And yeah, good luck all season long, gentlemen. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks for having us.
All right, there they go. And that wraps up another edition of Tornado Talk. Be sure to follow the Tornadoes on social media and subscribe to the YouTube channel where you'll catch every opportunity when the Tornadoes go live. We'll see you at men's lacrosse on Wednesday versus Oglethorpe. That's a 7 p.m. start. Thanks all those behind the scenes, Joseph Marvin, our producer, Emily Denaga, and Cassidy Hutto as well, and also all of our guests. Thanks again for tuning in.